All right. Whoo, child, this internet. Hi, I'm Kawaii Bree 123. I'm not even sure if you can actually see me right now, because my internet is struggling a little bit today. So bear with me. If it gets really bad, let me know in the chat. I'll just go to my avatar. But today we're talking about weathering with you, our connection to heaven and earth, and things we learned from the film. So I hope you've seen the film, but if you have not, we'll give you enough context to follow along. With that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and bring up my co-host, Shy Cutie, whose internet is working great. So yeah, we struggling
Hello,
today.
everyone. Hey,
Hello.
look, we're gonna call this the struggle stream today
Yeah,
because right before this, my camera was just black. So
yeah,
yeah,
it's just like we almost didn't even make it. So we just gonna take a second to cleanse the atmosphere and just internet, get it together.
right,
Okay. I don't have time to
releasing.
play with you today.
Right,
I rebuke the spirit of bad connectivity issues. I
right.
rebuke the spirit of 25 megabytes per second download speeds. I rebuke all of it. We just gonna go. And yeah, y'all just gonna see me just pretend I'm in a Minecraft filter or something like that. We just gonna call it that.
We're gonna
Uh,
release it.
Yeah, we gonna release it. So today, hey to everybody in the chat. Hey, technically present. Hey, Jay. Of course, I have no problem letting you come up and talk about this movie, especially if you love it. So, yeah, but we're gonna go ahead and start off. Hopefully, my internet will catch up like yesterday because it kind of did this yesterday, but so hopefully
Yeah,
it'll get it together.
yeah.
Um, my toddler just walked in like, hey. Um, Anyway, so today we're talking about weathering with you. It's our Monday movie discussion. Now the cat coming in, honey. Um it's the Monday movie discussion. So typically on Mondays we talk about deeper things. We talk about movies, and we'll talk about like spiritual lessons we've taken from them or things that we themes we've noticed. So we like to kind of get deep on today. And this movie actually ended up being perfect for the situation. Girl, I'm gonna have to mute you. You over there? You got the allergies.
Look,
It's just look, let me let you get it together. So just uh, yeah, so I was glad we talked about this movie because it had some themes that I kind of wanted to talk about anyway. So if you haven't seen Weathering with You, it's a beautiful movie. Um, yeah, highly recommend it. So first, we'll start off the discussion just saying what we thought of the movie in general, and then we'll move on into some of the deeper themes that we thought about the movie. So first, we'll go ahead and give our review of the movie, and then I'll end up dropping the link, and then anybody who wants to come up and talk about it, if you've seen it, can come up and talk about it and join in on the spiritual discussion after that too. Okay, so I'm gonna unmute Shy Cutie.
girl, these allergies is ghetto
Yeah.
today too. Okay.
Yeah, it's okay. You can always mute yourself if you have stuff going on. Just go ahead and mute yourself when you until you're ready to
Yeah.
talk too. You can always do
So
that.
forgive me in the
Um,
chat, you guys. Got these allergies, okay?
yeah, it's cool. So what did you think of the movie? First, just basic level.
Okay, so basic level. At first, I was like thinking that the pacing is was gonna be like like super like slow the whole time. So I was actually surprised when it wasn't. Like I think that they did a pretty decent job in like breaking it up. Like there was some slow pacing, and then there was some times where it like really picked up, and I think it was cool because you were not expecting it when it came, and so that kind of made me like really get more to the plot of the movie, like
Mm-hmm.
so I did appreciate that.
Yeah, I definitely
So,
like the pacing. I think the second act was the strongest. I
mm,
like the first act though. I think the first act of the movie definitely gave it time to show off the beauty of the animation. Like all those
mhm,
sunrise, like sun coming through the cloud scenes were just like beautiful. And I
mhm,
just enjoyed them pacing. Like I love that about anime, especially like movies. They're so good with
mhm,
not feeling like so rushed to like get to the
Yeah.
point. They have this nice like breathing. It's like a nice pacing to just let it breathe.
Mhm. Yes.
Um and yeah, I
Mhm.
like that part, the first part of the movie
Mhm.
too.
I think that if I had not watched like the other animes I've been watching that are super
Uh-huh.
like high paced first and then went to this movie, I probably would have had a different reaction to it at first, you know. But like when you go
Mhm.
from like things like Demon Slayer and Jujutsu Kaisen and you know, you come and watch such a relaxing movie, you're like, okay, when is it gonna pop off? When is it? You always like waiting for that moment. But then I
Yeah.
did after I watched, I would say after the first like 15 minutes, I kind of was like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
let's
Yeah, it
relax,
kind of
you know.
started off a little it kind of started off a little slow, and like I this is like
Mhm.
one of my favorite genres of anime, which is Iyashi Iyashikai. So it's
Iyashikei.
IYAS hold on, ASHIK. Sorry, Iyashikei. Iyashikei. It's KEI.
Iyashikei.
So it's IYASHIKEI. When I try to read Japanese and speak English at the same time, it just the vowels don't be voweling. It don't work
Yeah.
at the same time. But anyway, but it's a genre of anime that has like a healing effect on the audience. And I think this
Mhm.
definitely fits like this peaceful, it's typically slice of life. This was it can have
Mhm.
supernatural elements that kind of give you a calming, healing experience. This is like my favorite genre of anime. And so I think
Mhm.
the past three movies we talked about on our Monday show has been there, like Spirited Away,
Mhm.
Totoro, and now this movie are all in that genre because I think you leave the movie feeling like he is
Yeah.
just like a healing, calming
Mhm. Mhm.
effect.
Mhm.
Did you get that from this
Yes.
movie?
I did, and I like the like. I felt like there was like closure. Like it ended. We didn't have any more questions. It was just like really really good closure, you know. And
Mm-hmm.
I definitely appreciated that at the ending of the movie because when you I feel like that's the part that kind of makes it like healing. It's like oh we left on a good note, you know, it's like
Mm-hmm.
closing a relationship. When you leave it on a good note, everything's closed. You can like move on. You can be like, okay, I
Yeah.
completed it. You know, I'm good.
Yeah. It
Yeah.
definitely yeah, I definitely felt love that. And it surprised me like at the end. I just liked it. I mean, at first I was kind of like, I don't know if this is going to be groundbreaking or and I could make the argument that it wasn't, but I definitely think I took the lesson from it that it was trying to
Mhm.
portray and I really appreciated the
Mhm.
lesson or the message. Not really lesson. I feel like Japanese movies aren't out to pound you on the head with a message. They
Mhm.
just kind of be like, take what the spiritual lesson is and do what you want
Mhm.
with it. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
that's how
I do.
Japanese movies feel.
I do like how they are really good at showing you a different perspective without trying to force something on you. Like
Mhm.
it made me appreciative of the perspective like of the whole the movie, the characters in the movie's perspective on things. And then like you
Mhm.
said, it's like when we read a book and then somebody else reads a book and then you come back and say well this is what I got and then the other person says this is what I got from the book, but the book itself is not there to try to force anything. It's just simply
Mhm.
putting the story in place and letting you take it in and letting you like gather your thoughts on how you perceive the story, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the wisdom from it.
Yeah.
So just real quick for anybody watching, I know Jay said he's seen it as one of his favorite movies.
Hmm.
So a quick summary of this movie. Spoiler alert: this movie is it's not old, but it's old enough. So if you ain't watched it yet, look, honey, you about to hit this spoiler. So the movie is about Hodoka. Hodoka, yeah. He's a boy. He's a runaway. He runs away to Tokyo. I think he's like 15 at the time, 15 or 16 in the movie. I think he's 16. He runs away. He runs away to Tokyo. He meets Hina, right? Her name was Hina, which I think is interesting because of Hina dolls and the priestess and
Hmm.
everything. Her name. So her name is Hina, and he meets her, and she is what is called a sunshine girl in the modern Tokyo, but the older people call her a sunshine maiden. right? A sunshine maiden. Yeah. Yes,
Mhm.
2 years
Mhm.
old. Thank you, Jay. So she's a sunshine maiden, which means that she can control the weather. And Tokyo is in an abnormally long rainy season, and it's just raining, 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 and it's progressively getting worse and worse and worse. And Hina has the power to make the rain go away. And so the first act of the movie is mostly just Hina and Hodoka running, and her little brother running around, um, granting people's prayers to make the rain stop. And so she's, making prayers, she's making the rain stop, she's doing the job of a sunshine girl, sunshine maiden. And then the second act of the movie, we start to kind of understand what's going on. And the weather is getting progressively worse. And we also find out more about the sunshine maiden and the history of them. And then as the movie progresses, Tokyo is flooding, it's snowing, it's thundering all at the same time. The weather's out of control. And so it's revealed that the sunshine maiden in history was a sacrifice to balance the weather again. So she had the power to grant wishes for sunshine, but eventually she would become the human sacrifice required to rebalance the weather. So Hina is in this position. And so, she's granting the prayer, she's getting spirited away, which is what happens, which shout out to Spirited Away. She gets spirited away. The weather goes, back to normal in August in Japan. And Hodoka is like, nah, I ain't trying to hit none of that. So he goes on this quest to go get her and bring her back. Eventually he is successful. He goes and I don't remember how he got to her, but he gets to her. He tells her, bump all that sacrifice stuff. I don't care about no rain. I want to be with you. And so she makes the choice to come back down to earth, and it starts raining again. Japan floods. Um, but yeah, they're together. So yay, happy ending. So that's pretty much the summary of the movie in layman's terms.
Yeah. At least if you don't mind the rain, it's a happy ending.
Girl, a whole city
'Cause
flooded though. I don't
the
know.
and it never stopped raining, and eventually, they alluded to the fact that some of the areas were actually
Yeah.
became underground cities because of that. So
Yeah, it
I was
flooded.
like,
Yeah. Japan,
dang.
Tokyo flooded. So people had to leave the
Yes.
city. The rain did not stop. So, it's up to you if that's a happy ending or not.
Yeah.
But yeah, what would you rate the movie out of 10?
Hmm. I would have to say I would give it a good like 8.
8? Yeah, I think it's a
Yeah.
solid 8. I think Your Name is a 9 for me. But I think this one's
Really.
a solid 8. Yeah, it definitely,
Mhm.
reminds me of, like, Of Course, Your Name, and The Girl
Mhm.
Who Lived Through Time, which is, like, oldie but goodie.
Yes. Yeah.
So it kinda reminds me of that movie, so it's definitely, like,
Mhm.
up there. I loved it. I love the animation, I love the
Mhm.
music.
The
Brad
animation
Williams
was
always does a
really
great
good.
job. Yeah,
Yes. Yeah.
yeah, it was just
Yeah.
beautiful. It's a beautiful movie.
I did enjoy the animation. Especially like how they show like the water fragments and versus like the wind and like the colors
Mhm.
they use. That was so cool. I was like, they
Yeah.
captured that really, really, really well, you know?
Yeah, the spirit elements of the movie, they did really
They did a
well.
really good job.
I think all the characters were likable. I love
Hmm.
Natsumi. Um, what's his name? What was his name?
Mr. Sugar.
Uh, yeah, Mr. Suga. His
Sugar.
niece. Yeah,
I
Suga.
call him
Yeah, his
Sugar
niece. Yeah, Sugar. Come on, Sugar, because that's how we say it. But
because it's
Mr. Sugar,
English. Hmm.
yeah, his niece, I love Natsumi. I loved her
Yeah, she was.
character. I liked Hina's brother, the little brother.
Yeah, he was a little man. Okay.
He was like, we ain't got time for all that high school crush stuff now.
Like,
You like
right,
her or not? Don't be doing all
right.
that blushing and stuff. We ain't got
when
time for
he
that.
when he told her to start off cool and save the ambiguous stuff for later, he was like, everybody knows that. I was
I was
like,
like,
dang.
I don't think adults know that because he's like, don't be ambiguous, and
Right.
that's a thing that keeps coming up. But we'll kind of move on to that later.
Yes, there's a
But yeah,
lot of that. Okay.
all the characters. I really did like all the characters. I don't know what's with Hodoka and waving his gun around, honey. Like he is Hodoka was waving that gun around like he lived in Texas or something, honey.
He didn't care. He was like, I love this girl and I'm gonna get her.
He
He's
would have
like, if I
got
gotta
shot.
die trying,
Okay, he would have
yeah,
got
yeah.
shot in America.
He was
he
he,
he would have got shot over here.
girl,
They did not play that, especially when he gonna point the gun. Oh, he would got shot. That was a little
girl.
ridiculous, but I was like, maybe because it's Japan, they don't typically do weapons like that over there.
They really
Maybe that's
don't.
why.
It was probably kind of
it,
shocked that he had this thing because
yeah,
it's like
it was a little
like
ridiculous.
right. Like, wait a minute. First of all, there's everybody
Hmm.
talking about it's a toy gun.
Well, in America, he would have got shot, and then they would have tried to
Right.
figure out if it was a toy later.
They're like,
That's
oh
how we
dang,
roll
man.
over here.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
you got a gun, you get shot. Okay, well,
It's gonna be
some
me or
people,
you.
for some people
Right.
in America, if you have a
In
gun, you
America.
get shot. Some
Let's
people,
just go back to some people would have been shot.
some people, yeah.
But
But yeah, that part was kind of funny to me. But I definitely I just love this movie. It's like it took a second to hook me, but I think it was more so because I was distracted. Because I came off watching Attack on Titan, Demon Slayer,
yep.
Euphoria, and then
Yeah.
Bailey keep coming here asking me for stuff. But
Okay.
I had came off watching all of that, and I'm trying to settle into this healing energy movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so it was a little
Yeah.
difficult for me to like kind of
Oh
settle
yeah.
into it. But once I did, it was great.
It was
I
great.
can't
It's
believe
kind
I'm
of how
still choppy, huh? I'm still choppy.
you better actually since the
It's
stream
trying.
is
When I
started.
turn my face, it seems like it do better. Like it don't wanna.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, is it
I
my
think
camera? I think it's my
it's like the
Wi-Fi.
camera trying to focus on too many things at the same time, probably.
Yeah, I mean
You
my
know.
Wi-Fi signal is just trash. I
Yeah.
probably should have
Yeah.
just started my router, but it's fine. Y'all can hear my voice, so that's the most important
Yeah.
thing.
Your voice is
Um,
definitely not choppy.
yeah.
But yeah.
So I think I'm gonna go ahead and drop the link. So if anybody's watching and you love this movie and you want to come up and talk about your favorites before we go into the deeper themes
Mm-hmm.
of this movie, I'm gonna go ahead and drop the link. And so some of the themes that I think I noticed in there, which maybe because I've been in other streams and it's been coming up a lot, like manifestation, soul ties, being specific with your words. Definitely saw those themes come up in this movie, and it
Mm-hmm.
could just be because I've been hearing about it a lot. What's some stuff that you saw come up in the movie?
There was one part that struck out when he said when he was praying for her after he found out that she could disappear, and he said, please let us keep what we have, but don't take more away from us, but don't give us more.
Yeah.
Um, because when he said it immediately made me think about how we are when we pray. Sometimes we think we're being specific, and then like when the prayer itself is like answered or we see it manifest, we be like, but that's not what I asked for. But then you think about it, you be like, but that is though. That's what you asked for.
Yeah.
So
His
he was.
prayer was kind of like vague. I was like,
It was. I
well, I
think
guess
it
his
was
prayer was
pretty.
to just stay in the moment. He just wanted this moment
Yeah.
to last forever. So, well,
Right. It was like specific. I think it was pretty specific in a sense that it kind of showed you what his intentions were. Like he did not care about money. He didn't care about. He just wanted to have enough money to support them. Right. So he had that at the moment. Right. And then he also was like, but I don't want you to take anything away. So I thought that was cool. He actually thought about that because he was basically saying like, let me keep the people that's here right now, but don't give
yeah.
us more, but don't take this away from me either. You know what I mean? I don't think we think like
Did
that sometimes.
did he
But yeah,
say that before Hina showed him that she was evaporating? I don't think he did.
I
No,
think
I think he
it's
said that before it hit 12 because she didn't tell him until after 12. She didn't tell him
oh
until after until. after he gave her the ring. And I feel like he was making that prayer before, she
Before that.
revealed that. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I think
Uh-huh.
I'm pretty sure he made that prayer before she revealed that she was slowly evaporating and getting
Slowly like
spirited away.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he
Okay.
did. So,
Maybe he did.
um, but
Maybe
yeah, I
so.
just think that that's like one of the spiritual lessons. I definitely see that happen to people where they think, I prayed about it, and that's definitely a point of contention for a lot of people, who feel like, I prayed and then I said I wanted this outcome, and that outcome um did not happen. And so that's definitely a point of contention for a lot of people with the idea of God or religion and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I could say in this case, like he kind of prayed and he didn't get what he wanted.
Mm-mm. He really didn't. Mm-mm. I
Yeah.
mean, but to
So I
some
mean,
degree,
go ahead.
I guess the most important thing was that he kind of got her still.
I mean, and that's the other
Well,
thing
he
like
didn't
about
get
this
her,
movie.
but
But
yeah.
I think that's the thing about this movie. Um what obviously the end is ambiguous, right? I think even in the
Right.
movie it's like set your intentions, like the senpai said, set your intentions and then you could be ambiguous after you set your intention. And I definitely feel like the movie kind of did that because it was kind of
Uh-huh.
ambiguous. Like, was that really the best choice? Was that?
You know, I mean,
And that's what I'm
I,
saying, you
I
can't really say.
you can't really say because it I feel like it's gonna differ from person to person, you know? Like would I want it
Mhm.
to be raining all the time? And no, not really. You
I
know,
mean, but
no.
basically it was this whole idea, which I think was the shocking thing about this movie, what it was this idea of, everybody in the movie gets this hero's journey and this call to action to save the world. And of course, most people feel like it's then their duty to like do what's
To
necessary
do.
to save the world or
Yeah.
save whatever group that they've been charged with saving.
Trash. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, how do you feel about them just forsaking that? Is this a secret climate change movie? Well, honey, if it was,
If
we're doomed because they did not choose to
right.
save the world. They said,
Right.
y'all can go ahead and let it flood. We don't even care nothing about
Right.
none of that.
I don't
Am
care
I?
nothing about it
Oh,
all
okay.
that.
It's
Yeah.
like loading on my other computer. So I'm wondering, are we here? If you're in the chat and you're watching this, can you still hear and see me? Because my other computer screen is loading. Let me see what it looked like on YouTube from my phone. But yeah, they definitely did not choose to save the world.
No, no. He was like, man, I'm trying to save my girl. Like
Yeah, he didn't care nothing about none of that. Let me
he
see.
didn't. He
I'm
didn't.
trying to save my okay. Okay. No, we're still live. Okay. Yeah, he didn't care. And I kind of feel I feel like I don't know, MJ. Hey, welcome to the chat. I don't know. Oh,
Hi.
Jay's ready. You ready, Jay? Oh no, he ain't ready. He got up. Um, I'll wait till you sitting back down. Go ahead. Go ahead. Oh, okay. I can see him in the back. Um, I don't know how I feel about it. I think it's realistic. I,
Yeah.
I I have this belief that through the okay, cool. Thank you, MJ. I think through the dawn of time, people the thing I liked about this movie was the mysticism. Okay. So
Mhm.
in this movie, they clarified that weather maidens existed and they were these Hina priests, they were priestesses, and they were like in
Mhm.
feudal in Edo era Japan, all these times they were raised up knowing this mission and this purpose, and they knew that they would have to embark on this. I'm gonna have to mute you for a second. They knew they were gonna have to embark on this, and so they kind of were raised up knowing that at some point they would be faced with this choice and they would have to do this. And of course, typically they made the choice. Now, fast forward to modern day Japan, nobody even knew of this, history and tradition. And so when the time came, she chose to do something different. She chose not to do what traditionally weather maiden would do. And of course, maiden, you're expected to be a sacrifice. She chose not to sacrifice herself for The weather. I just um this movie is Your Name for Kids. It's they're kind of the same. I'm gonna unmute you. I think
Mm-hmm.
that this movie speaks to soul tie. I think Your Name to me reminds me of the connection between souls. Is more so what I think Your Name tackled, and I feel like Weathering for You tackles like our connection to heaven and earth, manifestation, and like the balance of there's always a price, like the debt, the sacrifice debt. I feel like this movie talks about versus Your
Mm-hmm.
Name.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I would say the difference is, right? Um, yeah. So I'm speaking of that. Oh yeah, Jay, I unmuted you. Um,
It's cool. It's
but
cool.
okay. Hey, I see you like getting set. You
Hey,
ready to go? My
how
internet
you
Well,
acting
doing,
no,
up.
Jay?
how you doing, Shy Cutie? Nice to finally meet you. I've been seeing you in some of her streams, so it's cool to see you. And Bree, always a pleasure to be on. Um, I'm actually glad you guys are talking about this film. I have such a long video for this film. I have to edit, I have to make screenshots, I have to do everything. I'm going all out for this
Okay.
because one YouTuber outdid my idea a little bit. Because for me, I'm going to be talking about everything: the characters, the story, the animation, the screenplay, and not to
Mm-hmm.
mention the music. Like
Mm-hmm.
I have the
Yeah,
whole soundtrack on my freaking phone over here. So
it's
yeah,
a good soundtrack. I
yeah,
love it.
definitely.
It's of course but yeah, I think well, you could tell clearly you love the movie. I think
Mm-hmm.
that you've been on some of the streams I was talking about, Jay, as far as people talking about soul ties and manifestation, specifically just Kaya, shout out to her. She was talking about those themes more recently, and I feel like this
Mm-hmm.
movie definitely brought some of that up to me. And I just love how the Japanese explore spiritual themes and like connections. I just really love how they have such a like balanced view of it. You can kind
Mm-hmm.
of feel that there's not a bias in it when they're telling you
Mm-hmm.
this.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
Mm-hmm.
no,
Yeah.
there's not at all.
Yeah.
Like
Mm-hmm.
their whole culture thrives on this. It's probably one of the reasons why I love it so much. Well, their culture in of itself, because when I first saw this film, since I did see be surprised. I had not seen an animation film since freaking 2000, and that was like the
Mhm.
second Pokemon movie when I was a kid. I have not seen any animation film except when I went to go to the theaters to go see this. You know how long ago that
Wow.
was? And I was just like, I was like 20,
That's a
not
long
yeah,
gap
28. Yeah, it is a
cuz
long
this
gap. I
came
was
out
like,
2 years ago, right?
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I saw it in theaters, and because I like I have seen promotion for it all over on YouTube. My boy in Japan said, "Yo, Gaia," my Japanese buddy. He's like, "Bro,
Oh.
you gonna go see that movie?" And he alerted me of it because I'm like, "Yeah, man, I've seen promotion videos for it already. I am definitely gonna
Mhm.
go see it." I had to see it the week after because my work schedule was crazy that week. And I said, "Listen, I'm requesting a day off. Ain't nobody gonna stop me from seeing this because I need to go see this." So and this is before COVID, and this is before I don't want to say it loud, but this is before the pandemic hit. And
Mhm.
because this movie and Sonic were the last two movies I saw before we couldn't do anything before the theaters closed. So when I saw it in theaters, and I tell you, the animation, the sound, the music, ooh, I'm literally
I
seeing
bet it
I
was
see
on
multiple
10 at the theater.
yeah, it's probably to make it a 10 at
Yeah.
the theaters, but even then, I'll tell you that. But like, I have never seen so many, like, especially elderly Japanese couples literally around me, and also some, a few, like, probably like cats like me just sit back, just relaxing in this movie. And we was just, God, you felt so enthralled, you felt so enticed in watching and what you were watching. And when I
Mm-hmm.
tell you, I ain't never had a movie. I'll be honest, it is hard to get me to cry on anything. Anything,
Mm-hmm.
it's hard to get
Right.
me to cry on something. This one actually got a tear out of me, which is rare. Nothing,
Yeah.
nothing, nothing has ever done that for me except Prince of Egypt when I was young. Now that I'm older,
And
I'm like,
can
yeah,
I
it's hard.
so what exactly well
Yeah.
first, Shy Cutie, did this movie elicit an emotional response from you
Yes.
at
In
all?
certain
No, it's
in
Shy
moment.
Cutie.
Yeah,
Yeah?
moments. Yeah, there were some moments.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And for you, Jay, what was the moment that made you tear up exactly, if you
Yeah.
remember? Like the
Hey,
end
I'm gonna
or
be
like
real.
before that?
It was the fact that this, well, first of all, there was two lines that this man said when he went to go get the girl, and when he crossed the Torii gate, SK, like
Mhm.
the Shinto gate to, like, the shrine, I guess, to the other world, quote unquote,
Right.
Mhm.
that spiritual realm. It was when he told her, I'd rather have he said, I'd rather have you than any shiny day. I
Mhm.
really rather have you.
Oh,
Right
Whenever I
in
hear
the
the
feelings,
whenever I hear
Gabby.
right when I heard that, I was like, okay, this dude's a man. Only a real man would actually say
oh,
that in front of the girl he cares about, because
Mhm.
it was not only that. I think it was a combination of them falling in the music, and I would say, just for me, the fact that that actually got a tear out of me, and because that actually spoke a lot of truth to what men will do for girls, that for women slash girls that we care about. We will
right.
do just that. Yes, I will agree with you. It's like I said, it's hard to get people to cry on some things, or to make people feel emotionally invested. The
I
thing
was
is, I
crying.
did end up
Oh,
I did end up caring about. I cared about her and her little brother, off rip, but mostly I
Yeah.
yes.
but mostly their struggle is one that any person in our community can relate to. The only
Yeah.
difference
Mhm.
the difference with her is that she had to lie about her age, and I get why she had to do it. I really get why she
Yeah,
had to
because
do it.
Mhm.
she was trying to keep
Keep,
her brother and all
keep her
that. And
brother,
I
Yeah.
just
keep
want to
her,
read
keep
what
what?
hold
Yeah,
on, what MJ said. The movie seems different depending on if you're looking at it through the eyes of Hina or Hodoka. Yeah. So
that is a
yeah.
good comment.
I
Yeah.
haven't thought
Yeah,
about that. I have to think about that a little more and think how that would change my perspective. Because I think we're looking at it through Hodoka by default because he's the person we're following. He's the protagonist.
hmm
Mhm.
But I never thought about looking at it through Hina's
Hina's eyes.
perspective. I'm gonna read. They said through Hina's eyes, the movie is about grief, though Hodoka eyes shows how selfish people affect others.
Others.
Wow.
MJ Freeman,
Okay,
man. Okay.
That's
MJ.
that's actually because I she was grieving because it happened when
Mhm.
a year like when her mom died. I
Mom
feel
was
like
in
she was
yeah,
saying,
was in a hospital.
yeah,
Yeah.
and she died. Yeah, so
Yes.
I it definitely interesting. I never thought about,
Interesting.
and that's interesting because you never think about this girl is actually going through a grieving process. You
Yes.
kind of don't think about it. Like she says
Mhm.
it,
You
and then you
don't.
kind of forget about it because you're just like, yeah, Hodoka, get your woman.
Yeah,
Dang.
Right.
we're not
Yeah.
think yeah, because we're thinking in terms of like that. Because I think the movie works in a lot of dynamics that we're looking at. Like Bree said earlier, like when you said he picked her over like saving that world, but the truth of the matter is, like I said, I
Mhm.
hate the guy that made the video because he's actually right. At some point, and realistically, Japan will be sunken underwater because of its
Yeah.
foundation of where it's at. All these islands that are placed, they will be sunk underwater very soon. Not now, but it's going to be a while before it happens. That's why I
Right.
said y'all better visit them while they still can. To be honest,
Mhm.
Right.
because
But
because it's just set that it's going to happen like that. I'm not saying it's going to be like crazy like that. Let's just be
right,
real.
no, of
That's a little over
course, yeah.
exaggerated,
But I mean, we
but it
it's
is
gonna
going
be
to
a few
happen at one
cities
point.
Oh
underwater,
Yeah.
yeah.
period. But
Mhm.
Shy Cutie, how do you feel about that theme of the juxtaposition of Hadoka's selfishness? I mean, let's call it what it is. He's selfish. He has selfish motives. This
Mhm.
whole movie, and I think there are points where they're pointing out that, like, we gonna call him Sugar. Sugar said,
Yeah.
you need to grow up. Time to grow
Right.
up.
Yeah.
And you see this moment where, which I love that part, where you see all these people suffering because he don't want to go home. He don't want
Uh-huh.
to he
Yeah.
doesn't want to face whatever he's running away from. Not to say it wasn't legitimate, but there was a
Mhm.
point in the movie where you see all these people going through these things, and you see a
Yes.
real man who has grown say, I have a child. Okay. I'm
Right.
not risking that for you for the feel goods.
No,
And
right.
actually you see uh that he made a choice. Like he decided, like, do I want to do the emotional thing and try to save the world? In this case, Hodoka is the personification of that duty to community, to those
Mhm.
who are in need, and then he said, but I have my daughter, and he obviously chose who he truly had a duty to. So you
Yes.
do see that theme in this movie of like, do you have a duty to your community in the world, or do you have a duty
Mhm.
to those who you have a direct connection to, who you have a duty to? And yeah, so what do you the
Yeah.
first I'll let Shy Cutie, what do you think about that? kind of.
Oh my gosh. Now that tugged on my heart a bit, okay? And I'm gonna tell you why.
Hmm.
Because he's a father and he obviously lost his wife. So to some degree, I think that I felt like how torn he felt. Like, remember when the police guy or whatever came, the investigator guy came, and he was like crying, but he was like trying not to be emotional,
Hmm.
but he was. It's that pull of, do I choose to do this for my children, or do I choose to help this young man who is experiencing the same love that I once, experienced with my partner. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? So
and
it's
he was
like,
in the same situation because he was a runaway. Like, and
yes,
she
he was
said that he was the same when he was his
he
age.
was the
Yeah,
same, right? So so I felt that, like, because he was like, he knew the path and he didn't want to see him go down that path, but he also knew that if he didn't let him or support him in that endeavor, that he would never like forgive it. You know what I mean? Like, he would never be able to fully like live on the way that, I guess, as a
yeah.
functional being.
Who you
So
mean,
I
like
just
sugar, like sugar? He
uh,
wanted to be with his daughter. You mean, or Hadoka? You talking about Hadoka's
Hadoka.
struggle or
She,
Mr. Suga?
Yeah,
Okay,
I
okay.
think that Suga felt that that would be Hadoka's struggle, and I think that's where the emotions
Mhm,
came when he was trying to decide, because
mhm.
it's like it's a very, it's
He
not like
knew
a
the
right or
path.
the, he knew the
Yeah.
path, but he also knew that if he tried to stop him at the same time, that Hadoka would probably have a hard time with that, because it's like the
Yeah.
first woman he ever loved, first girl he ever loved, kind of thing, and he
Yeah, they
didn't
was
want to
going
like
hard.
whoo, yes, I was like, whoo.
I
mhm.
do agree. I guess that's why he started crying. What about you, Jay? What do you think about that juxtaposition, and what do you think is the right? Do you think there is a right choice, or
Um, Honestly, well, first of all, let me give my gems out to Shy Cutie. She hit everything on the head. I was waiting for one of y'all to bring up Sugata because
Mhm.
any real man could understand that, because yes, his wife was gone, but I think he did not have custody of his daughter more so now. He just couldn't have. He could visit her and play
Yeah,
with her and things like that. But the thing is, I think they were with the mother's, no, his
yeah?
wife's grandparents, if I'm not
It was
mistaken, not
because
his
of her
own.
asthma. Like, she couldn't be
Esmond,
wherever he
because she
was
couldn't,
for,
yeah, she
yeah.
couldn't be where she was, exactly. That's why he had
Mhm,
to like be trying be with them for a while, because
mhm.
that's anything that any father could relate to, anyone who's a father of any kind. And I got his struggle. That's why I'm like, he's not an enemy. This dude, I
No,
see where he's coming from. Like, I'm finally, like I told him, like, I'm finally might have be able to, be able to be with my daughter finally after this time, because we got some good stuff for her now. She's be able to get cured and things for like this. I can actually be a father to her more so than what I was previously. So,
right.
it's so that it's the things that we have precious and near and dear to us. We're obviously going to choose those things over, like, hate to say it, but a stranger sometimes. But because the thing is, the core of what's in our circle are the people we choose to protect and look after. And he's not in the wrong for picking what, to me, there is no right or wrong in that
He has
sense.
a duty to his daughter, you know?
Yeah,
Like,
I'm a
I think
father, so
duty is
yeah.
like, yeah, I can't forsake my duty because I
Yeah,
have this emotional attachment to you.
right. Even though I sympathize with what you're saying, young man, and there are things that you are right about, correct about. The reason why he did decide to help him, because yes, I think it would. Uh I hate like self guilt. I hate self guilt because it's a real thing. It's like you have a Jiminy Cricket conscience, is what they call it, and that's
Yeah.
basically what he had. And the thing is, it's just like, yeah, like, just let him go, because he needs to not sort it out himself, but he needs to do this,
Yeah. And I
because
think
Mm-hmm.
he needed to feel the weight of, like, he was kind of like putting, yeah, he was shifting everybody else's
yeah,
little universe by
right, by
trying
coming into
to,
their lives, really,
yeah, by
that's really
coming
what
into
it
their life and
was.
not facing whatever he needed to face. I'm going to read MJ's
Mm-hmm.
comment.
Mhm.
Hadoka
Mm-hmm.
made a choice that changed the fate of the world, or at least Japan. He chose his love over the sunshine, clear skies, and sometimes we have to let go of something for the greater good.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
hear that
So do
argument
you think so
a
you
lot.
think Hadoka should have let go of that attachment for the greater good, is what I hear you saying, MJ? Which one do you agree with? You can let us know in
Right.
the chat.
Yeah, type
Mhm.
it here, because I think for me the thing is, it just means another girl's going to be chosen, and then they're going to sacrifice another one, and we'll just keep doing it and doing it and doing it. And until
But
it's
how
your
Mm-hmm.
many men
daughter,
have done it?
Right.
probably a lot.
Shoot, people have fought wars over
It's
women.
ladies.
Right.
I mean, well, let's be real. Let's be real. Until it's your daughter, you ain't gonna really gonna care until it's her. And I'm like, oh
Right.
heck no, ain't nobody taking my little baby girl from me. And you know,
Like
like I said, we're
no.
territorial with that. So I
Yes.
get what he's saying because
Mm-hmm.
yeah, sometimes oh man, oh we gotta quote Spider Man so much. It's like what Aunt May says. I gotta use I gotta use my comic book references here because it helps
Mm-hmm.
people understand. It's like what Aunt May says to Peter Parker says. Sometimes we have to be steady and give up the things that
Hmm.
we want the most, even our dreams.
Dang.
Yeah.
And I hate
Dang.
it, but it's a true saying.
It's so true.
That's I feel
Yeah,
like that's I feel like that's what I
I
feel
can't
like
give up
women
my
we go
wife.
I feel like
Right.
we women we go through that, but I feel like the men especially. Like I love this because I feel like Hodoka's struggle was such a it was a coming of age story. And Hodoka's struggle
Yeah,
is something that it's a lesson men have to learn. That's why I like seeing Mr. Suga and seeing him like a man who has had to make sacrifice, has experienced a loss. Like saying, hey, this is what it is. Like I have a
yeah.
duty, that's it. And like you seeing a man who has come on the other side and Hadoka still being a young boy. And I just think that that's definitely I think men have to learn that lesson way stronger than we as women do. Like duty for a man is like it's
It's
big.
it's like a
Yeah.
colossal weight that nobody could ever understand. Like it's thank you,
Spider-Man
MJ
wisdom is
Friedman.
good.
I appreciate it. But
Yeah.
it's like a real lesson that we have to learn really young, and also until we've experienced all those losses more often than not. That's actually what toughens us. But
Yeah.
also to have that sense of responsibility and discipline to know that there is no my way ever. The thing is
Hey.
there's always going to be
Mm.
that little brick in the road that you always see, and you got to be able to punch through it sometimes, but also know that not everything is going to go your way. We have to, we I
Mm-hmm.
think we understand that the best. Like the guys in my
Yeah,
like you said, the
I
group of guys that I'm
definitely
with, we get even though we
Mm-hmm.
have to let our ladies know, like you can have some things, but you're not going to have everything. And I think the lesson for Hodoka, because he was young, he picked what he picked. Had he been adult,
he should
oh,
not
I
have picked
think
that.
that would have been different.
He probably wouldn't have. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah,
that's what I
Exactly.
think. I think
if he was
he
a
had
responsible
he
adult. So yeah,
it was
I'll
yeah,
say
Yeah.
that.
it showed his boyish ways. Like, what do you think, Shakita? I
Mm-hmm.
don't think that's something we have to uh the lesson isn't as like punch you in the face for women. Like we do have
Mm-hmm.
duties. But I
Yeah.
don't think I definitely feel like I think the extreme example of like how I think men feel it in that way of like it's the greater good for everybody or me, like in my emotions. Like I don't think
Mm-hmm.
women have that. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that men definitely carry that weight differently. Because I think that like that's just kind of how it's been like over time. Like it's been passed down that men are the protectors, men have to do this, men have the weight. They have that weight that they always carry. But I think as far as us, we understand that well, you might be able to get this, but you're not gonna be able to get that. And I think that we learn that we get that faster a lot of the times. One, I think is because we grow up in a way that we have to kind of sit back and kind of like work around our situations more because of
Mm-hmm.
men being like the dominant ones. Like we kind of have to like work with them more. But I think men usually it's flipped. They kind of
Mm-hmm.
just like they make the decisions and then that's as far as it goes. And so they carry the weight of duty a lot differently. We see it
Yeah.
as like we do what's necessary. They see it as no, I gotta do it. It's my duty. Like it's not
Yeah.
about what's necessary and what's
Or how
unnecessary.
I
It's about
feel. Like for them, I
yeah,
definitely hear
yeah.
that a lot. Men be like, it don't really matter how I feel. You and the
Right.
kids have to eat, so I
Yeah,
gotta
so
go work.
gotta
Uh,
do this.
it's
Right.
like that. It's not really a thing.
It's not.
So yeah, I
To the
definitely
point they
give
don't
that
even
movie.
go ahead.
They
No, I
don't
definitely agree
even
with you. Yeah, I definitely agree with you.
like yeah, like how he was
Yeah,
crying. Like sometimes
yeah.
they don't even realize. Like I think Mr. What's it, Suga? I think he didn't
Sugar.
even consider the emotional weight of his
Mm.
choice because
Mm-hmm.
he was just like
Mm-hmm.
duty. Like
Dude,
I'm thinking
yeah.
my daughter. What are you talking about? Like,
Yeah,
Right.
and I
exactly.
think it kind of
I mean, yeah,
surprised him that he even had emotional response.
Yeah, he's like, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
like I think
Yeah.
to some point he did not expect for tears to come down his
Yeah,
face in that moment, you know, and
yeah,
it was just kind of like that struggle, that struggle. It's like his kids versus a kid that's not his kid. He could understand the struggle
yeah,
in two different ways, and that
yeah.
took like I feel like
But I
that's
don't
like
think the choice was hard for him, honestly. I,
I don't
I
think
think a good
yeah,
dad, like, bro, the choice is not hard. Like, I don't think my husband ever gonna be like this kid on the street or my children that I birthed.
right,
Like, I don't
yeah,
Right.
think for
Right.
men I think for women that might be a struggle because we're just nurturers. But I don't think if it's a
right,
man, like, he's like, I'm pick
no,
my kids. I don't
right,
Well,
even
yeah.
think,
right.
but that's what I'm saying. I think that's why he was shocked because I don't think the choice was hard
No,
for
it's
him.
yeah.
You know?
Yeah, the choice wasn't hard, but it did not change the emotions,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
the empathy that he felt for him in that moment. It
yeah,
like didn't change that, but it also his duty was still his duty. You know,
yeah.
like man, that this
Man, that's
sucks for
tough.
this kid. I will cry for this kid, but I got it,
That's
my
tough.
kids. You know, like yeah, that's
Mm-hmm.
really tough.
Definitely.
Like
Yeah, shout out to
yeah,
the men. Y'all
right,
definitely have a burden I don't have any desire to
yeah,
carry. I don't have any
I'll speak
desire
on
to
that.
yeah, I don't have any desire to carry
yes.
that. But
Mm-hmm.
was there anything that when you saw this movie that you learned? Is that maybe why it was so emotional? Like it kind of touched you because as a man, that's probably not the reality of life. That it's not often you get to choose the emotion versus the duty. Is that do you feel like
Yes.
it spoke to you in that way?
Yes. I
Mm,
mean, honestly,
okay.
I think they probably spoke to the yearnings of a 6-year-old boy who thought some things about life, but
Right.
also it helped me actually understand like my emotion isn't dead. It's still there. It's just more often than not how I choose, when I choose to show it, or like more often than not, I show it with the person that I choose to be together with. But the difference for me is just more so, like I said, you know, I don't like I said, no one ever. The only time I think my significant other will ever probably see me cry is if I lose somebody close to me, and that's pretty much what that's about. But the thing is, I've never had besides, like I said, besides Prince of Egypt, which is probably the rarest one to get it out of me when I was younger, as opposed to now, like I understand because
Hmm.
the theme of brotherhood, but also the theme and and weathering with you is more so the connections that we make with people, how we go about life, our choices, and what will be a result of those consequences. But I don't think they have to delve too deep in for those two specifically. And let's just be real. Don't I gotta give the best character in the movie is her little brother. That little
Oh
brother was a
man.
pimp.
I loved his speech because
That
I love Jordan Peterson, and Jordan Peterson has this
mm,
rule in his 12 rules for life: be specific with your words. And when he told him about being ambiguous, I was like, oh,
yeah.
that was a
Mm-hmm.
whole lesson in manhood right there.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm.
And then I right immediately I appreciated how he said, you gonna be my senpai.
Yeah, he was like, let me bow
Yeah, I
down
remember
to
that.
you
Well,
as the wise one in this
right.
dynamic because
Because
but
that
I
And
ain't
he
think
me.
that's
did do that.
important.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, he I remember he
Mm-hmm.
had actually had asked what a girl would like for like a gift because her false age is like she's still 18 and he's 16. But we all know
Yes.
they're the same age technically until later on we
Right.
got
Right.
surprised. But
Yeah.
even then, no, even then, I just love the interaction between Hina and Natsumi. That's hilarious.
Hmm.
When she said, "Wait, you thought she was a what?" Like I
Yeah.
say, classic Japanese humor. And I'm just laughing whenever I
Yeah,
see that. I'm
she
like,
thought it
that's
was the mistress.
hilarious.
A
Yeah.
Yeah,
mission.
right. I'm like, and she just and he just and no, she's just laughing like, "Well, why the heck would you think that?" Because the way you
Cause
was
she
laying out
just
on the couch, sweetheart,
yeah, and then
says a
when he
lot.
didn't even let her finish, she was just like, "You think
Finish the
oh,
sentence.
she didn't even it she was not she assumed a lot. She assumed she knew what he was talking about. And
She
he was
did.
like,
Yeah,
"Nah, I was
right.
out here
And I'm
thinking you was a whole thought, honey.
Right.
And you was
and
just
I like how you had to run
okay."
away so he wouldn't get canned by her. I'm just like, you had to
Right.
run away because like I don't want to get canned. But
Yeah.
but like I said, it's those moments in the movie that really that are like like the best parts for me. Character interaction is what I
Mm-hmm.
love the most in my like
Hmm.
series.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I care about. Like because when a character, he might be like a deep, complex character, but now I care about who interacts with him. That might change or get people to understand where he's coming from or where the other people are coming from. So like
Mm-hmm.
like I said, I give the film a 9 out of 10. The only thing that stops it from being a 10, and I'm gonna say this right now, and I think y'all ladies might get where I'm coming from. Why does cat run away? Can you please tell me?
Yeah, we never, but I
Can
think
you
that
tell me?
it was purposely ambiguous because I think the movie was a coming of age movie, and I think the point was whatever he was calling himself running away from, he needed to face it. And I feel like sometimes writers make that choice when they don't tell you the situation. They're basically acknowledging that the situation doesn't matter. It's like that lesson that you have to learn. Like, it's your problem, you have to deal with it, no one else cares, it's no one else's burden to carry. And so I think that's why they purposefully left the story, because it didn't matter. You're a man.
Okay.
You're a
Yeah.
man. This is your
Okay.
problem to face. Nobody cares what your mama did to you.
Okay. Now that's kind of okay. That's kind of wild to say, but
I mean,
I know
that's
what you
it's the
mean. I know
truth,
what you
right?
mean.
Isn't that how the
I know
world
what you
treats
mean.
you?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I
you've heard that
understand.
on
Like, because
panels.
you're
You
a
got
man, you
mom.
can take it. Yeah,
Yeah, you
I
got
get
Yeah.
mama
that.
issues.
Yeah, and but
Yeah.
the thing that got me was that one line where he said like, "This is the best burger I've tasted in a while," and he had tears coming out of his eyes, and that's like, okay, if it
Yeah.
was just nothing, then don't give me that line because you're
Right.
leaving because that is ambiguous, and I know
Hmm.
ambiguity writing
Right.
comes like that
Yeah.
because I took classes on that to actually know what ambiguous like novels are like, and I've got a couple in my
Hmm.
room to understand,
Yeah.
but something like that they normally just leave it like, okay, he's just here, but you gave me like two lines that he said that made me want to venture that. I'm like, okay, then what? Were you not
I, I
being fed well over there? Were
I
you
think
not
he was
taken care of over there?
abused. I think he was abused because he had all the band-aids on his face
Okay.
at
Hmm.
the when he was running
I have to
away.
go back and
Leaving.
watch that now that you said
Yeah,
that.
he got on a ship
Yeah.
and he had all these band-aids on his face. So my assumption was he was being abused and neglected.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Now I gotta watch that over because I'm like, because I don't remember. I remember him having a scar maybe on his face, like a band on
Yeah,
his
he
face,
had
but you
like
said
a
all over his
band-aid
body.
here and he had one like up here and like one there or something like that. So I
Hmm.
think
Oh, okay.
I just assumed maybe he was running away from home after getting beat.
Oh, okay.
MJ says the movie has a lot to say about the impulsive decision making of teenagers. Um, it's true. And before
It
I
is.
forget,
Yep.
I know y'all said what y'all favorite line was. I actually teared up at the end when he said, "I made a choice." He chose a path, and he chose this world. I actually love that line. Like, that made me teary eyed. But I was like, you kind of didn't. No, he said, "I made a choice." He chose a path, and he's choosing to live in this world. And so I
Mm-hmm.
think
Hmm.
it's like he's choosing to sit in the decision he made, even though he realizes the ramifications of that decision. But he's like, I made a choice, and yeah, I'm gonna sit in it. And I think it affected me because we were talking about soul ties yesterday. I think, Jay, you came on right when I left,
Yeah.
but I said that's like how you sever a soul tie. You you have to be solid in the fact that you made a choice, you chose a path, and you're gonna live in the world that you chose on the path you took. And that's like one of
Hmm.
the quickest ways to sever a soul tie.
Yeah.
So
Mm.
And
that
how
that
you do
line,
that is by experience. Yeah. And
Yeah.
like I said, it makes a
Okay.
lot of sense in real life because I
yeah.
know
Yeah.
everybody here who's probably a believer of God actually does believe in the sense of that. Um, even for me, who's questioning like whether I choose to follow it again or not. I've always said there's always been something about mysticism, especially with shrine maidens or like just shrines in general over there that just takes me back to want to visit all those. And it's funny, on my list of things when I go to Japan, that's the first things that I want to go to. I find that funny. I want to visit all
Well,
the
you want to go
shrines.
see a shrine, yeah, and get
No,
see
not a shrine, but all of them.
all of
That's
them.
the
Yeah,
difference.
I think you
Yes.
have to go. Like, if you go, you gotta go. I definitely, it's in anime
It's
so much too. I just was like, it's
yes.
Yeah,
so
they incorporate so
It's
many
yeah.
different things from it, like
mm-hmm.
like I said, the mysticism of like exorcists or Buddhist monks.
Hmm.
Like I said, there's a lot of stuff
Mm-hmm.
that you two have said before I even got on that I already agreed with, and then
Mm-hmm.
you actually you actually made good points on them because
Yeah.
that is something of their culture that they like to do a lot. Like
Hmm.
I said, like apparitions, spirits, all things that over here in America is considered, yeah, Zara Hado nonsense is what they
Yeah, I
call it.
mean, yeah. Yeah, so what do y'all feel about, are there moments, things in your life that, we'll start with you, Shakiri. Are there things in your life that sometimes you have had to say that mantra to yourself, like Hodoka did at the end of the movie, of like, I made a choice, this is the path I chose, and I have to I'm choosing to live in this world I have crafted for myself,
Mhm.
because
Mhm.
it's all about crafting your reality in essence. So
Mhm.
is that something you ever struggle with, or always do struggle with, or?
Yes, I would have to say, it's this a good question because doing a lot of the self-reflecting on my this past 2021 year,
Mhm.
I've come to realize that a lot of my struggles with accepting the path that I chose actually started back when I was in high school.
Mm.
When I chose to not go into the Air Force because at the time my aunt got sick, and I felt like, kind of like guilty for leaving her behind and not knowing if she would still be alive. If I went and came back, I would miss those precious moments. And so I think that from then on, when I struggled with like, not having a dad and not having, people there that I needed there for me, but I was continuously there for other people, it
Mm.
created this struggle over time of me, being okay with my decisions. And then also not like had to tell myself that my decisions were not necessarily wrong, but they were my decisions. So
Mhm. Yeah,
so
big
yeah,
struggle. Mhm.
yeah.
And so
So
what I hear you saying is, if we break it down to simplify it into you had the choice Hodoka had of choosing the community or your what you wanted to do, your love or your desire. You chose the sacrifice myself for the community route.
I did, yes. And for that, like when I was actually happy, but and sad when she like chose to like sacrifice herself for the greater good of the community, because that's a very difficult choice. It's a very difficult thing to have to do. It's like you're having to accept that, okay, if I choose this, that means that I'm not going to be with the person I love, and I'm gonna have to leave some people behind. But then ultimately, you're also creating your choice is also going to be good for the community, for like all those people, not just like
Yeah.
yourself. Yeah. Hmm.
So you had to struggle, and so did eventually what helped you finally stop mulling over your past choices?
um because I honestly, as I gotten older, I realized that the impact that I had on people it was bigger than I thought it was. Like it was
Mhm.
important. It was important. It was an important part of my growing process. It was an important part of just you know, realizing that that may just be my strength. Like that's
Mhm.
probably my gift, and I had to be okay and accept that that's just what my gift was. And I don't think I've always embraced that. I
Mhm.
think as I've got older, I've learned to embrace that I'm just that person that can comfort people, or
Yeah.
like I'm some type of therapy for people in different ways.
So if you were Hodoka, what would you have chosen?
If I was
Realistically, knowing yourself now, not
knowing kn- knowing myself, I probably would have chose the girl.
you would have chose the girl. I think you would have saved
Preach,
Tokyo.
sister,
No,
preach.
Now, knowing her
no,
personally, I feel like she
no,
would have saved Tokyo.
no.
She
I
not.
would have. No, no,
She
for
would have
real.
saved Tokyo, and then she'd be up and spirited away crying in the clouds because she was
Uh
sad.
huh. I'll be sad, but I'd be like,
That
but a million
it's for
people
the better.
have
It's for good. They get to live there, and I think it was important to see the
right,
juxtaposition though, because you
right.
saw all the ridiculous prayers, the selfish reason. Everybody else was
Mm-hmm.
living selfishly. Everybody was calling the Sunshine Maiden. For I got a soccer game today. Oh, I got
Right.
this. I got that. And then
Yeah,
it even got to the point where people were planning events knowing that it was going to be bad weather and banking on the fact that she would come and clear up the sun.
and
And
clear up
none
the
of them
sun
cared about what she was sacrificing to get them sun.
to
So
give them. Yeah,
everybody, yeah, so everybody in the movie was living selfishly. And then in
That's
the end,
true.
she's
yeah,
expected to be this like selfless person and sacrifice herself for them. So it's like,
yeah.
no, you get, and I think that's a lesson. You get what you put out. Yeah, let them sink.
Right.
Let the city flood. because y'all are selfish, and so don't expect me to be,
Oh.
I'm no, keep that same energy. We being selfish,
Right.
okay, yeah, let me go be with my boo.
No,
Right.
I got you. I feel you on that. I feel you on that.
Yeah, keep that
I'm glad you
energy.
pointed that
Yeah.
out too, because that was
Yeah.
another thing. There were some things that they needed to stop the rain for, but at the same time, there was a point where it just got out of hand, and that's why I
Exactly.
like what, and that's why I like when those
Hmm.
two people were trying to understand like what a sunshine girl is, and it was actually this maiden that's actually given the power, and that they're actually sacrificed to like technically it's kind of technically a god, like one of the gods of Japan is what it is,
Yeah.
one of the mythical
But it
creatures,
was really
and it looks like a water
they were
dragon.
being sacrificed for the desire for people to have nice weather.
Nice weather.
Hmm.
When you shouldn't,
I
when,
mean,
when technically I've always said you can't mess with Mother Nature. I've said this before.
Right.
There's when Mother Nature always wins, regardless
and
whether
that's what the
Yep.
old
whether
man
it's the choice of a
said.
boy. Yeah, exactly. Whether it's the choice of a boy to
Yes.
save his girl or not, it's gonna win regardless. If it
And
Hmm.
that's
was
what the
meant to
old man
rain and
said.
pour
Y'all,
down there, it's meant to rain.
and that's what he
It's
said.
Yeah.
Y'all
true.
looking at it from y'all small world view. Of in
Right.
my
Hmm.
small lifetime, the sun comes out in August, but he's like, the earth is older than you, the world is older than you. This is a cycle that is
Yeah.
beyond you. This is a
Right.
hierarchy that's beyond you. So, honey, say the word if you want, but like maybe nothing's wrong with the rain. Maybe this is the way it's supposed to be. I agree with that.
Hmm.
I feel that way about climate change.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've said the
And
same
now,
thing on that too.
yeah. Now I would have to agree with y'all on that. Like I think that like one thing for sure, the biggest lesson is that you're really not in control. You're really not.
Yeah,
Like
this weather maiden this time, and a few how many
yeah,
years till we have to get another one? How often are we
yeah,
sacrificing maidens?
She
right.
said this
I
time,
know. Yeah,
right?
so I would have to say like the mature me would have to say that if I'm gonna be in some dirty, dusty, rainy, muddy weather, I'd rather have a boo next to me while I'm doing it.
To
Yeah,
be
watch the
miserable,
whole
right?
world. Yeah,
Right,
watch the whole world
I'm
sink,
just
honey.
right.
I'm said this before. Like, who really wants to be alone? And that's why we would pick. I mean, that's the nature of humans. Humans are inherently selfish to some extent. The
Hmm.
rarest peoples will be the ones who are selfless. Who sacrifice everything, but are the people who can't be together with anybody. We've seen this with characters in anime or in like live action, and they're not a. It's not a life that you want to live. I.e., Wolverine. That's
Mhm.
no one wants to live that man's life. He can't be together with anybody. So he makes
Right.
sacrifices. Spider-Man
Yeah.
is the same thing. It's the exact same thing. And they're temporary puppy loves is what they are. And then they just go downhill.
Uh
So
huh.
and I'm just like, guys, like, you gotta understand when it comes to some things like this. I mean, nobody likes it, but I think that's the point of like of people who have like greater responsibility is what I'd say. I've always said that. If you have a greater responsibility, then you're gonna put your own selfishness aside to help those other people to make sure they have prosperous lives over you, which is kind of crazy because I
You
think
saw
that
my
would kind
face.
of turn you crazy. Yeah, I'm saying it's like,
Mm,
yeah, yeah.
I just Lois Freeman. Hello, mom. Sounds like that movie. Don't Look Up. Yeah, I think as I'm getting wiser and steeped in the ways of the spirit realm and all those things, um, yeah, I just think you do craft your reality. I think that
Hmm.
you should I just ride off energy. So I'm gonna give you what you give me back. So
Yeah.
if the
Exactly.
world's being selfish, don't expect me to come be this benevolent being. And I have another question that I want to ask y'all because we also talk about this a lot in the YouTube spheres. I think
Hmm.
anybody can relate to this, but especially as Black people, people always come like we need to save the community. You have a duty to the Black community because you're Black, and I
Oh
think this
God.
movie definitely gives you an answer to what you should say to that because it's like I
Hmm.
have a duty to, yeah, I'm Black, but it's like I also have these people over here who like
Hmm.
need me and depend on me, and
Hmm.
I really can't put this community that I just somehow was born into over
Yep.
that.
Yes.
So I just thought about that too. Like I see that conversation being a hot topic lately. Oh, the Black
Yeah.
Hmm.
community, this, the Black community, that, and it's like, I mean,
Yeah.
I,
I'm.
I
Mm,
just like
Yeah.
just like she's just so happy to be born in Japan. And I just so happen to be Black, so I can't really
Right.
put y'all
exactly.
over my duty.
Exactly.
Exactly.
You know,
Exactly.
The
But you hit it
one
on the head.
Right.
Go ahead,
The
Yeah.
Thea.
my first priority is always going to be my household. Yeah, I just can't. I mean, I might have that might have been different for me as a 17, 18-year old, but like
Right.
now, no. Uh Household
No.
gets my energy first. And then everybody else, if I got some left, I do, and if I don't, oh well. I just don't. Mm-mm.
And what about you, Jay? I kind of
For
know how
me,
you
it's
feel about it, but
oh
go
yeah,
ahead.
you don't have to. No, no, I said
Mhm.
for me,
Yeah, yeah,
it's the same. So we got,
it's
like
the
I said,
same.
we all in agreement over here because the
Yeah.
thing is, the people who I've let be my family, those are the people I care about. And I'm not saying like I
Hmm.
don't want to help the people out there, but once I have my own family, that's like pretty much out the window. It's
Right.
really out the window because like
Hmm.
these are the people who are near and close to me, and these are people I have to look out for. If I got a wife, I got kids. I ain't got time to worry about the community. I got to do is just worry about them and take care of all three of the people that I have in my life right now. So
Mhm.
Hmm.
that above above the whole community thing. I mean that's what fictional superheroes are for. That's what a Luke
Hmm.
Cage is for, and we don't have
Right.
any of those, to be honest. I mean that's
Right.
technically what he was in that whole show. He's just
Yeah.
Right.
fixing the problems of people so they can have good
Hmm.
lives while he's trying to have some semblance of his life. It's the
Right.
same thing. But the thing is with us that when we're 17 we say these things and we help out to a point, but once we get our own family, and if we bring our family onto that, it's a little bit different because you said these people helped us, so we're gonna help them. But I guess that's more of like an event in order to like show people that we're just giving back what you gave to us. That's different. But as far as like full on fixing the community itself, hey, listen, I keep no loyalties. All right, my loyalty is to my family, and that's pretty
Yeah.
much as far as it goes.
And at the end of
And
the day, if you ask the
that's it.
hard question of what has the you once again, I run off energy. What has the community done for me? And
Nothing.
I think people feel try to villainize that kind of expression. But the thing
Hmm.
about the world and the universe is nothing is free, and they even said that in this movie. Everything comes with a price. Everything is
Exactly.
coming with a price. Everything is transactional. That is the rule of the universe. The rule of the earth realm is time equals money. Time
Hmm.
equals
Hmm.
money. You can't get past time unless you got a little bit of money. If you ain't got no money, then you got to pay with the time. That is something you cannot get around in this universe. Everything has a price. Everything. So
Hmm.
then when you turn around and say, well, you have to benefit me in some way for me to go out of my way to help you, people try to make you sound like, oh, that's horrible. Oh, that's horrible. You should just
Oh,
you should
well,
just
that's selfish.
that's selfish. That's
I mean,
our
everybody's
problem.
selfish. Is what I tell people to talk about. So, what are you talking about? Like, everybody's selfish,
Yes.
Hmm.
or is at least or a little bit biased. Don't forget that too. Because I told my friend, he said,
Hmm.
like, I'm not biased. What are you talking about? I hear everybody out. I'm like, yeah, I can turn my biasness off when we're having a conversation. That's why when I heard both of you guys talk, I turned any bias off so I could hear what the actual points that you guys are making. I do that with any conversation.
Hmm.
And the thing is, especially like if it's over someone we really love, that gets heated regardless. But the thing is, I'm willing to sit back and listen. I think
Hmm.
that's what needs to happen a little bit more of. Because like I said, when Bree
Hmm.
talks, we all listen. When Cutie talks, we all listen. And the thing is, when I'm really hearing y'all speak, it's coming from a place of experience, but also of genuality. I don't hear enough of that a lot of days.
Hmm.
What I hear more is of like echo chamber nonsense and a cult type mindset. But it's just
It's true.
for me, it's just more so you're not your own individual person. When I hear you speak like a cult person, you don't
Yeah.
have your own individuality, and it's the same thing with a woman trying to explore herself or a guy trying to find out about like what's his purpose or what he's trying to do. It's just like
Hmm.
I think once you find it and it incorporates with something of like what you previously believed to like what the new thing is, that melds a new person. So
Yeah.
you're a completely different person than the thing you just joined, the thing you were previously. So that's what I've said, and
Yeah.
especially when it comes to a movie like this, I would say that a lot of people had changed throughout the end of this movie. And also, yes, we did get a good ending more often than not. Yet, I would say a bittersweet ending because of what happened to Tokyo and Japan. But
Yeah.
Hmm.
but those but people just learned how to adapt over there. They just didn't go to the deep waterways. Is all really what it was.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And
People will adapt. Right.
yeah, they will
Hmm.
adapt. Humans will always do that. It's not like, oh, well, you
Hmm.
just let whatever not like. Listen, humans can survive anything as long as we always have the willingness to rebuild and the perseverance and resiliency to not accept defeat. That's what that is.
Mhm.
But see, that's like the mindset that's trying to be shut down nowadays, right? And I think
Mhm.
I'm gonna let people like
Hive mind.
even yeah, even with this, this
Right.
whole worldwide situation we just went through the past 2 years, that I'm not gonna say
Mhm.
C-19. I definitely feel a lot of that energy of like not allowing people to adapt, not allowing humans to do what humans do, which is to adapt. You're always trying to overcompensate, and if everybody ready to sacrifice the maiden. Maybe people just
Mhm.
need to like maybe people just
Yeah,
need to
right.
adapt.
Yeah.
Like
Yes.
Yeah.
maybe this person doesn't have to be sacrificed. Maybe we just y'all just need to adapt and stop doing whatever y'all were doing to get us in this situation anyway. But I mean, I think
Mhm.
that mindset is definitely not supported in
Mhm.
society. And before we wrap it up, because what time you have to go, Shacuti?
I'm good. I got like another hour.
Oh, okay. So I think the last thing I wanted to talk about related to this movie is manifestation, because that's something that comes up a lot. It's a buzzword a
Mhm.
lot lately. I've been hearing a lot of,
Mhm.
especially black women. I'm a manifest. I'm a manifest. I'm a
To the
manifest.
universe.
You can't even manifest a good attitude. But okay,
Right.
girl. Um,
There must be the church sisters. I ain't never heard. I'm not hearing it
right,
daily, but I do hear a couple of like my
Right.
elder like aunts say manifest, but that's a few
yeah.
people.
I think this movie they have some aspects of true manifestation, especially when the old guy was dropping knowledge about the connection
Mhm.
between the spirit realm and the earth realm
Mhm.
and the thin cord that connects the two, and
Yes.
how in this
Yes.
actual particular situation the weather maiden was the cord that connected in the weather phenomenon, the two realms. So I'm gonna let Shaku to go first, ladies first. What do you think about this whole trend of manifestation? How do you think people, when you hear, what do you think about when you hear other people say, and how do you think it actually works? Do you believe it works?
I do. I believe that manifestation works if you are putting in the same energy that you're trying to get. Like if you're feeding what you're trying to get out of it. So
Mhm.
like in the sense of like for instance, something as simple as my journey to weight loss, right? There was a time when I would like start, stop. And that was like a manifestation of my weight, like lost it, gained it, lost it, gained it, right? Now, if you say, you really gonna manifest your weight loss, and I say you go ahead and you just stay consistent. You don't do the start stop it thing. You just see it through. You do it, even if it's looking like it's not working, or if it's a little bit of doubt there, you still push through. I feel like at the ending of it all, you're gonna manifest what you put in. You're gonna see
Mhm.
results. You're gonna feel better. You're probably gonna
And
look
so
better.
and so what stopped you in the past from manifesting what you wanted? Was it a
Honest,
lack of understanding of how it actually works, or was it just like, what would you say?
I would have to say, honestly, I think it was a lack of trust in the process. Like, I
Mhm.
think that, like, for some reason, there was this idea of I should get these certain results in this certain amount of time. And if
Mhm.
it did not happen, that meant I need to scratch, start all over again, and just like figure it out. Instead of continuing the process and rolling with the punches as they came, finding solutions to problems as they came up, as opposed to this whole mindset that I gotta like scratch everything and start all over because it's not working
Mhm.
after a certain period of time, which that's very flawed thought process, because if you live life like that, you're never going to get to your end goal. If you're continuously,
Right.
okay, I'm going to start and then I'm going to scratch it and I'm going to start all over, like sometimes I think it's necessary to see the process through so that you can
Mhm.
learn those lessons. It's almost like raising a child. If you try to stop them from bumping their head every time, or if you try to stop them from learning the lessons, it's like a hindrance, like they're never
Yeah,
going to
you're doing
learn
them
it.
a disservice,
You're
correct?
doing a disservice. So it's kind of the same disservice that I was doing to myself, And I think
Mhm.
that that's pretty much what stunted my progress,
And
like
so when you hear people say manifestation like as a buzzword, what do you typically hear? Do you hear anybody say that? And what do you typically hear it surrounding?
I be hearing people use what do they use? I don't hear them use
Like
manifesting.
positive thinking.
They say that they're gonna what do they call affirmations.
Okay, like positive affirmations. Yeah, yeah.
Yes, I hear it
Mantra.
in,
Yeah.
yeah, I hear that form more.
Hmm.
Um and I think that if your heart lines up with what you're saying, and then your actions also at the same time, that
Yeah.
yes, you will manifest that what you're trying to.
Okay.
I think they all
That's,
have to match though. Yeah,
yeah, that's the problem a lot of
that
times.
is
What
the
about you,
problem.
Jay? Do you need me to restate the question, or
No, no,
yeah?
no, 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 no.
Okay.
She said that. I like you said that's the problem.
Yeah, it
It is
is.
the problem.
Funny.
Yeah.
Like
Do
I
you
think,
Come
like I
on,
believe in
said,
Preacher J.
manifestation? Yeah. Do you
do I
believe in
that
manifestation? Firstly.
not sure if I do believe in it, but I do believe if you manifest a dream that you want to do something, you can't bring it into fruition. But the thing is, you have to make that dream a reality. That's what I consider the manifestation of that
Right.
is. So
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
in terms of that, but like in on a spiritual connection level, that's a little bit different. But before I get into that, I'll just answer the main one of what you asking me. I think yes, it is possible that you can manifest something that's in a dream into a reality, as long as okay within the realms of what's supposed to be possible. Let me just say that right there. I don't think we're
Right.
gonna make giant freaking Gundams. Maybe Japan could probably do that one time if they're still around.
Right.
Maybe that's possible because they created it, the idea for it, so maybe that's possible. But
Yeah, you
like
got to respect the laws of the realm in which you
Right.
live.
laws of like of what's
Yeah.
plausible, laws of physics.
Right.
Okay, that's all I'm
Mhm.
saying. That's all I'm saying when it comes to like what we have here. But I think it's possible if you put it into fruition, and then not in 5 years. I don't think it's possible, but I would say like let's say like an 18-year plan that you've set out to do it, and then it didn't happen in 18, but it happened in 20. You were still able to do it. The only thing is
Yeah.
that it took 2 years longer to get it done. So the manifestation within your dream, or like you
Mhm.
projecting it outwards, making it plausible, is possible, definitely. Now
Mm-hmm.
with spirituality, I think where that's something that's based on your own beliefs and on your own your love for it, I would say. Because if you really truly do believe in it, then you'll follow it to the T, and nothing
Mm-hmm.
should ever be able to shake or halter that, or more so
Mhm.
put a couple of breaks in a row for it. But
Mhm.
but
Mhm.
Bree, to actually touch up on something real quick that you guys mentioned when you're talking about that old man when you
Mm-hmm.
explain something. Uh you guys have seen Your Name, right?
I've seen. Yeah. She's
I
just kind of
haven't.
read about it, but I've seen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
The core.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wait,
Yeah.
you've seen it,
Okay.
but she hasn't. Okay, I'm not gonna spoil
She,
anything. But funny enough, there actually is a cameo with two of the two main characters are in Weathering with You,
Oh,
and I
really?
noticed it. They are. The thing is, the girl that was selling him the jewelry, that
Mm-hmm.
was the girl from Your Name. That was Chiaki, if I'm not
Oh,
mistaken.
wow.
Yeah,
I gotta go
that
back and
was
see
her.
I
it. I
wonder
love
why
Now
that
they
the
movie.
kept
boy, the
showing
boy
her. They
was
showed her
somebody
name
else.
tag. Mhm.
Yeah, they showed
And
her
who was
name
the
Okay.
tag,
boy?
but you saw her hair. The boy, I think the boy was the one in the shrine that he was talking. I think the thing is he was just visiting his parents because he said because he said like, I just picked out a ring for my no. The thing is the girl she had a ring. They're married.
Yeah.
I want to let girls know that she actually had a ring on her finger when I saw it. She's married because she still has
Hmm.
the ribbon on, and then she had the freaking ring on. But
I
you
did
see the
actually
boy
see
in
the
the shrine.
ribbon, and I was like
Yeah,
thinking about that character from Your Name
it
because I
was
was thinking
teasing
about
me.
the red ribbon, and I was like, oh, that's like the red ribbon the girl always wore. Oh
Mm-hmm.
wow,
Mm.
that's
Yep,
That's
and
nice.
cool.
because the
Okay.
same man created that made this. It's the same
Yeah.
guy, but the thing
Okay.
is, they're in the same universe. That's the crazy part because I did want to bring that up to you guys because you just reminded me that was the biggest what the f to me, and I'm just like, wait,
Mm-hmm.
what? I said, wait. He not said like, wait, where's the guy? I'm like, yo, he's right over there. I was like, what? Because Hodoka ran past him, and I'm like, because you see his hair, and
Mm-hmm.
also I think you see his eyes. You have to go back
That's
and watch
pretty
it slow,
cool.
but you see him, and I'm just like,
Okay.
what?
That's pretty. I mean,
Because
that's
I
pretty
thought that was
dope.
a random guy. I thought it was a random guy at the time. I'm like, because my friend said like, you said no, that wasn't the other guy. Like that wasn't a random guy. That was what's his name, and I'm just like, what?
Yeah, That's pretty dope.
Yeah.
Let me read
Hmm.
Lois's comment. You reap what you sow. Manifesting is everyone finally seeing what you've been doing in your life, whether you like it or not. Exactly. And that's why I think
Mm,
people try to throw out the judging, and you
Right.
shouldn't shame people, and like especially surround, like for instance, surrounding weight. It's not something I really struggle with in my life
mm-hmm.
or anything, but I always kind of tell people, I've worked with this lady and she was always, trying to lose weight. And she would like always, I'd be like, I'd be like, oh, I brought cupcakes or donuts, and she'd be like, oh, donuts. And I'm like, girl, it's the donuts is not the problem. It's you.
The donuts.
It's a
I've heard
donut.
that.
It's a donut. It's your whole this
Right.
thing you have surrounding food. Like that
Hmm.
Anxiety.
is actually the problem. It's not the donut. You not eating this donut is not going to keep you from being overweight.
Right.
Exactly.
It's you. So I think
It's
people
you.
have a problem with you calling out their reality of
Mm-hmm.
I'm not supposed to be able to see in your mind, which is why your physical is supposed to give me some intel about the state of your mind. And people
Right.
do
Mm-hmm.
not like that. People don't
The
like
self
No.
that fact.
control. Yeah, the self
Yeah.
control needs to be there when you're trying to if you're trying to say you're gonna lose weight.
Yes.
Even with me, like even though if I eat something I'm not supposed to, like let's say like a little bit, not only like a whole thing of something, like a whole thing of ice cream, that's never gonna happen. I'm not sad in my emotions this way because the
Yeah, I'm
stereotype of
not
ladies
beyond
behave when
it.
they're sad.
Yeah,
No, no,
Right.
no, no. I'm not saying you're beyond it, but ice cream.
I,
Hey, listen, sweetheart. Ice cream is an addiction. It's a
yeah,
good
no,
one,
no. I'm a
but
woman.
it's still
I
not
have
healthy for you.
hormonal fluxes and flow throughout the month.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, but it's all about self control and perseverance and that,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah,
and I guess just more so just and commitment. That's really what that is. Like
Yeah.
me working out, me trying to like eat this. Like let's be real, all the food that's supposedly healthy for you don't taste as good as the bad food. We all know this.
Right. We know
right.
that.
Like fried chicken is probably the best thing people have ever created.
It's
But
proof
I
God
stayed
loves
away
us.
to yeah, right. But
Right.
yeah, stuff us up, right? I'm just
Right.
saying. But yeah, it's like it's all about self control, and if
Yeah.
you want to leave a cleaner, healthier life, especially with your spouse who actually is living healthy, that actually pushes you to want to live similar to how he or she is living. And the thing is, I've met
Yeah.
so many ladies, so many dudes who just didn't like how they look, so they put in the work and they actually are totally happier with what they have now. And I'm talking about the ones who didn't
Yeah,
get no freaking surgery. I'm talking about the ones that actually put in the work,
Yeah.
yeah,
who are like a
yeah.
Yes.
little bit bloated, and then I literally like I'm such in a peaceful life now. I don't drink soda. I don't eat
Mm-hmm.
cakes. I don't eat none of that fast food nonsense. I make my own food. I make
You manifested
smoothies.
your reality.
Yeah,
You manifested what
Yes.
you
exactly.
want. You wanted a better life. You wanted to be healthier. So I think that's what manifesting really is. All this
Yeah.
Yes.
voodoo, all this
Right.
mysticism of manifestation is a crock of shit. Sorry, mom. It's a crock of shit. I'm sorry. You just do it. You make a choice, like you said. I make a choice. You walk the path, and you live in the world that you have crafted. You do not get to now come on this internet and then whine about this reality you have craft for yourself.
Hmm.
I'm
I
sorry.
understand.
I get really upset about this month. I got a potty mouth.
Yes.
I be trying to edit myself. But look, I get so annoyed with people coming on YouTube's
And then
Yeah.
whining
complaining.
about the reality they have crafted with themselves. For
Mm-hmm.
themselves, and now you
Mm-hmm.
coming on here fussing at everybody else, projecting on everybody else, like
Of
Mm-hmm.
what we should think, and I'm like, stop that
Yes.
because
or
I'm
what we're
not
Please.
doing, why
right.
we're doing it.
Yes.
It's like,
Yes.
Yeah, to
It's
get
like
us to
it's
agree with you, and I'm like, stop.
yes.
yeah.
And I actually, and I'm appreciative of this process. I've been at this now for about maybe about 4 or 5 months or whatever.
Mhm.
And with the my I'm trying to manifest my weight journey, my weight loss journey. And one thing I have to say, that this taught me that lesson that you were just talking about, like blaming everybody. Like I
Mhm.
crafted this for myself. It wasn't nobody else did do it. No one held a gun to my head and said, Sheena, eat this way, eat that way. I did it. And so now when I hear other people talk the way that I think I used to sound, I be
Right.
like, hold up, stop. Like, no, it is not so and so's fault. It's not so and so's fault. It's you. If the same thing is happening to you consistently in different areas, at some point you got to realize you the common denominator. So let's be real with ourselves. Let's have a moment and do some self-reflecting and like figure out like what we need to change about our mindset and about our attitude and our relationship with the food or with whatever it is that you're trying to manifest. Because for me, I had to change my relationship with food and how I thought about food, and
Right.
that's ultimately what the problem was, but it still went back to me.
Yeah, we
So,
all have something we struggle with. I mean, we
mhm.
all do. And it's up to us. The sooner you can stop looking around for external validation and external
Yep.
things to blame, you really
Yeah.
can move on with your life. I mean, I definitely had that experience where I always took on this personality of being low energy, and that was my past for being garbage, for being trash, not doing what I knew I needed to do. And I'm not gonna lie, still struggle with balancing my energy to what all the things I have to do and I'm responsible
Mhm.
for. That's always going to be a struggle for me because
Mhm.
one, I'm a creative. So if I could just stay in my room and draw all day and look at pretty things, I would choose it all the time because that's just what I love. And I'm a Libra. So it's like kind of like it just is what it is.
Yeah.
But I'm
Mhm.
always gonna struggle with it. But the sooner I let go of that as a personality trait, I was able to mitigate it. And I think more people just
Yeah.
need to accept some things that you're naturally you naturally are drawn to may not be the best for you. So if you can accept that and stop giving yourself excuses, you can mitigate it. And you're
Mhm.
better able to craft your reality and get the things done that you want to get done.
That is
So
so
I
true.
definitely think like how we get all this from this movie because
Look.
ultimately it's something that you have to the lesson Hodoka had to learn is the lesson we all had to learn and Hodoka arrived at that conclusion at the end.
Mhm.
Life's all about
Yeah.
choices. There's always a sacrifice. What's the price? Do you want to pay it? And if you don't, then you need to be able to walk the path that was in your budget. Okay,
There we go.
Right.
Yep.
that's it.
No, you're
Boom.
right. And like you said, like, yeah, you hit
Facts.
everything on the nail.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah,
would say, life is about choices and trade offs. And
it
the
is.
choice, like I said, this is the choice, and here's the trade off from the choice that we pick. Like I said, if I choose to stay in Japan and I have my own family over there, the trade off is I'm probably not gonna come back. The only time I would visit would be very minimum, and that's just mom and dad like holidays or
Right.
things like that.
Yeah.
Just that stuff. That's the trade off but that's something that I picked, and I
Right.
picked it for the
Exactly.
well, not just simply for my own well being. I picked it for my family because this
Mhm.
this is something that's important to all of us, and also it was a talk. It wasn't like,
Mhm.
well, this is what I decided, and that's the end of that. I'm like, no, no, it'll
Mhm.
be terms between me and the wife, and then it'll be like talks of like preparation in case things don't go well in America. We come back here, so
Right.
Exactly.
like if as if it was vice versa. So like I said,
Mhm. Mhm.
we make it. I'm not saying us here, but like a lot of
Right.
us as humans do make excuses for many things, and we do want sympathy for many things. But when I came to
Mhm.
realize, like, listen, this is real life. Ain't
Mhm.
nobody gonna feel sorry for you. No one owes you sympathy at all. No one owes me anything for the hardships that I've had in my life. But the thing is, I'm a stronger person for it because I've recognized those flaws that I had. And where I'm at now, I'm really surprised where I'm at. So
Mhm.
That's good.
because I did
Really
some
good.
work. Like I said, because I
Yeah.
did some interchanging at work, and I did speak to professional people for help. And the thing is, as a result of that, I'm in a much better light. And anime happened to be one of those saving graces since I was young to help me really love
Mhm.
and not to be disconnected from people because I used to be disconnected from them. Now I'm not, and it's like it's either a miracle in a sense or whether I believe in God or not, like something was looking out for me or helping me get into where I need to be. And I do thank all the people who have helped me to become, a better person than I am now. Because
Yeah.
it's always gonna be adversity for a lady or a man to, go on through a life and, just have brick walls in their way, but they're gonna have to, climb over that wall or go through the wall. And the thing
Hmm.
is, that's how our lives like are tied to people. Like if we're willing to do all that, then I'm pretty sure we can do that in a relationship too. I'm not gonna turn into a relationship, even though this is technically was a romance anime. But
It was.
I
Yeah.
will say like a lot of people could learn some stuff from some of the series that they watch.
And that's
And
my
Mhm.
hope with this series, like of just my
Mhm.
channel in general, like us not only just talking about if we love the movie, but also like talking through like when I watch movies, this is how I am every day. When I watch stuff, I try to learn lessons from it. I see themes in it, and this is just how I am. And I think
Mm-hmm.
that, like, especially why I love anime, it's because
Mhm.
there's just so like this is a healing anime. This helps you learn things, and like that's why I want everybody to watch anime because there's always like I
Yes.
just love everything about it, and there's always something you can
Yes.
learn. And anime fans are like some of the dopest, chill, most open people.
We are.
Like
Mhm.
We
if you
are.
that person that like anime and video games, especially that combo, like they're gonna be
Mhm.
chill. Like you could probably they're pretty open minded. Like I just
Mhm.
it's great. Everybody should watch
Yeah.
anime.
It's
I just
Yeah, everybody should.
yes.
And
they just
Everybody
I
need
will
to
should.
say
stop.
this to Shy. I will say this to Shy and Bree here. Um, I will say this: a big indicator of why you do get into it is because you're young. And also, shout out to Lois. I appreciate that. The thing is, the thing is, it was always looked down upon that we did like this. But what made me more happy than anything that there were more people of my kind loving it
Mhm.
because anytime it says, oh, you're lame because you watch anime, like I don't give a freaking care. Listen, you're talking to the biggest Pokemon shipper of all time, dude. When I was like 15, you're talking about I was a huge Ash and Misty
Oh, my
fanboy.
brother's in the chat. He was like a
Yeah,
Yu-Gi-Oh cards player. Like
yeah,
Oh
so
yeah.
he was
right,
like in
right.
Pokemon cards, Yu-Gi-Oh.
Like,
I
yeah, the
mean,
black we used to be on that all
Yes.
the time. Black people used to be in school with Pokemon cards, Digimon cards. Like I'm talking about even
Yes.
the jocks before
Yeah.
I became a jock myself. Like they used to be coming in with football cards. Like people don't understand. Like it was
Mhm.
a fad for boys to have all this stuff,
mhm.
and it's just like
Mhm.
I think it wasn't exclusively just for us, but I didn't notice more sisters get into it until like I got in high school and college. That's
Oh
when it
yeah.
really started surfacing
And
more,
it's
and you
still
realize that makes you
hard.
happy.
Yeah, it's still like I mean, I know a lot of black female anime fans. Like I'm in groups now, but like in real life, I definitely meet more like I met more black guys who are into it in person.
Mhm.
I still haven't run across a female in person that was black
Mhm.
that is into it.
Mhm.
But I know they exist on the
Right.
internet, but
It
I ain't
exists,
met none of
yeah.
them in real life.
The same
Same
way.
So
here.
Hasn't met that
yeah.
many.
Yeah, but I
Right.
know
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
exist. I follow a lot of them on Instagram and I'm in groups. So
Mhm.
we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up because we're at an hour
Yep.
and 32 minutes. I just want to get y'all final thoughts. I'll let Jay go first and then we'll
Yes.
let you go and then me and
Oh no, ladies go
Shy can
first. Go ahead.
well, she the
Let her go
co-host.
first.
She the co-host, so she gotta
Oh,
close
okay.
out with me. So I'm gonna let you
Oh,
be
Right.
the
okay, okay. I
guest.
got you. I
Yeah,
got you,
go
Yes.
ladies.
first.
I feel you.
Come on,
Only
Jay.
reason
We
why
want to
because
hear
it's
your
ladies
words of
first.
wisdom.
All right, sweetheart. Um. Okay,
And look,
so
he gonna get in
oh,
trouble for that. And we
yeah,
done
I
I done
know.
told you.
I know.
I know. We see you trying though, child.
I'm trying. Trust me, it's one of my lingo freaking words. But the thing is, no, the thing is, like, this is an amazing. First of all, this was an amazing stream. Shouts out to Bree.
Mhm.
Shouts out to Shy Cutie 38. You sisters came in with facts and knowledge of the movie, and also you told us your likes that you liked, but also you further explored those likes into reasoning and explanations. A lot of people don't actually do that. At least from a lot of female YouTubers that I see. At least that you
Right.
two are the ones that are doing it. I love seeing that because I need to hear more sisters be more, speak more about, explanation on things of anime that they love. But
Mhm.
also, the film is a 9 out of 10 for me. Like I said, it's close to perfect as you could possibly get. And
Mhm.
there's a lot of lessons that you can take from it. And like I said, a deep dive discussion in it was very fun. And like I said, be sure to like and subscribe to my to Bree. She's awesome. And also shout out to Shy Cutie 38 again. And also, if you don't like this video, I will come and find you. Okay.
See, there you go. And next week, I think we should do your name next week. I really do
Yeah.
think we should just go ahead and do it because just like we did Spirited Away and Totoro, we should
Mhm.
go ahead and do your
Mhm.
name and we can talk about soul ties and like how
Mhm.
we talk about it over here versus how they show it in that movie. I think that would be like a
Mhm.
great discussion. But yeah, thank
Yeah.
you for the compliments, Jay. I really appreciate it.
Yes. Thank
You're with
you.
kindred spirits over here. My mom's in the chat. She raised a bunch of nerds. And my brother's in the chat. He's the one who played Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and my husband is also a super nerd. So you're among your own kind in this chat and
Yes. Thank
on the
you.
stream. So you're always
Yes.
welcome. We enjoy
And
Shout
I'm
having
out
you.
to
thankful for
everybody.
finding the Freeman family because they
Yeah.
adopted me into the nerds.
Yes, this is my sister-in-law. So yeah, she is also a nerd, and her husband is as well. So you are amongst friends here, sir. Thank you
Yes.
for coming on, and see you on the next one. Okay.
Thank you,
Bye.
Jay.
All right, Shaku, to go ahead and give us your final thoughts.
I would have to say I rated this movie a solid 8. I did like all the animation. I loved how they captured the worlds. Um, I loved how they captured like the struggles with each character, like versus, you know, in a sense of what they thought was important to them in their own way.
Mhm.
I think they captured the struggle of each character with that decision very, very well. I appreciated the wisdom that they had with the older people. It was really cool. And yeah, that's like my final thoughts on there. I thought it was really good.
Good. And you said you gave it an 8 out of 10, right?
I did.
Yeah. I think after talking about it, I gotta bump it up to a 9. It was some
To a
deep stuff in there.
nine.
I think sometimes until
It
you unpack the movie, you
Yeah,
kind of don't realize like how solid it was. You be like, "Dang, that movie was dropping gems.
it
Hold
was.
on, let me give it a 9 out of 10." I gotta agree with Jay. He said 9.5, but I say 9.
Nine.
MJ said I
Okay.
didn't meet white anime fans until the internet blew up. Exactly. And we were our own bubble of anime fans, so we had each
hmm
other, if nothing else.
Just kind of underground. I would have to say I could bump it up to a 9 after,
Yeah.
especially after I got to maybe like the 20-30 minute mark in the movie. Yeah,
Yeah, the second
yeah,
act definitely was
yeah.
like
The second,
solidified
yep,
it. And
it
my final
definitely.
thoughts, like I said, I just love the themes of the movie. Make a choice, walk a path, stick to it, and be an active participant in the world you crafted for yourself. I just love that. And it's always choices. Everything has a price. Life's about choices. And something's always being sacrificed on your behalf for all
Mhm.
of the comforts you have. So I just think that it's like such a great lesson. Watch this movie, Weathering with You. I watched it on HBO Max for like I
It's
have a
for
subscription,
free.
so it was free.
Hmm
Yeah, it's on Amazon Prime. You can rent it for like $3. And next
hmm
week we'll be going into Your Name, which is made by the same creator. It's beautiful, same. It's just pretty much the
hmm
same, but it's kind of about a different spiritual thing. So we'll talk about that next week. And
hmm
yeah, my Thursday show, we're doing a Shoujo show on Thursday at 3 o'clock. And that one's we're gonna talk about My Dress Up Darling, and we're gonna finish I Love You, Colonel Sanders. So that should
hmm
be fun. And I think we're gonna try to do anime bingo. But I
We're
gotta
gonna
figure
try.
out how to make this card. So we are gonna introduce our new game to this channel called Anime Bingo on Thursday. So I appreciate everybody in chat. Thank you, Lois. Thank you, MJ Freeman. Thank you, Hubby Technically Present. Thank you once again, Jay, for coming up here. And yeah, I think that's it. Interesting show. Glad I tuned in. I'm glad you did
Thank you,
too.
Mama
Sorry.
Lois.
Sorry
We
about
appreciate you.
cussing. Sorry about cussing.
Yes.
Um
Sorry. PG
and with that
13 people.
all right, with that being said, we're gonna go and we'll see you on Thursday. And we're out. Keep it cute.
Keep it cute.
Bye.
Bye.